The night my wife admitted she had slept with her boss, she expected me to scream. Instead, I quietly placed an envelope on the kitchen table. She laughed. An hour later, she was standing outside my locked bedroom door, sobbing, and the words she whispered through the door changed everything. My name is Ethan Parker, and for 11 years, I thought I knew my wife. Her name was Claire. We lived in a quiet neighborhood outside Charlotte, North Carolina, in a 2-story house with a small backyard, a mortgage we were still paying, and enough memories to make leaving feel impossible. Claire worked for a major financial consulting company in uptown Charlotte. Her boss, Richard Cole, was the kind of man who wore expensive watches and talked like every room belonged to him. I had never trusted him. Claire always told me I was being paranoid. Then came the company party. That night, Claire came home unusually quiet. She dropped her purse on the counter and stared at me. "Ethan, we need to talk." My stomach tightened. She didn't sit. I slept with Richard. The room went silent. I looked at her, then at the wedding photograph hanging on the wall. 11 years. Gone in one sentence. "How long?" I finally asked. "Once." "Do you love him?" She shrugged. "No." "Then why?" She looked away. "Because it happened." That answer hurt more than the confession. Then she said something I'll never forget. "Big deal, Ethan. People make mistakes." I slowly reached into the drawer beside me. I pulled out a sealed envelope and placed it on the table. Claire frowned. "What's that?" "Open it." She did. Her face changed after the first page. Inside were printed emails, photographs, and financial records. Claire stared at them like they were written in another language. "Where did you get these?" "I've known for 3 weeks." Her eyes snapped toward me. "You knew?" I knew something was wrong. I pushed another document toward her. "You weren't the only one Richard was lying to." Claire's hands started shaking. The emails showed Richard had been manipulating company accounts. Millions of dollars were being moved through shell companies. And Claire's name appeared on several transactions. She looked at me in horror. "I didn't do this." "I know." "Then why is my signature here?" "Because somebody copied it." She looked at the envelope again. There was one final document inside. A report from a private investigator. Richard had been preparing to blame everything on Claire. Her affair wasn't just an affair. It was part of a trap. And suddenly, the room felt much colder. Claire sat down. "Ethan, how long have you been investigating this?" "Long enough. Why didn't you tell me?" I stared at her. "Because every time I tried to talk to you, you defended him." She covered her face, then she whispered something that nearly broke me. "Richard told me if I didn't cooperate, he'd destroy your life." I froze. "What?" She looked up. "He knew about your small business." My heart dropped. Richard had threatened my company. He had threatened our house. He had even threatened to make sure I lost custody of our daughter if Claire ever exposed him. Suddenly, her betrayal looked different. Not forgiven, not erased, but more complicated than I had imagined. Then Claire reached into her purse. "I brought something home tonight." She pulled out a tiny flash drive. "I stole this from Richard's office." I stared at it. "What is it?" "I don't know." "Why did you take it?" She swallowed. "Because tonight, Richard told me someone was going to take the fall tomorrow." My eyes narrowed. "Who?" Claire's voice broke. "You." At 6:15 the next morning, my phone rang. It was Richard. He didn't say hello. "Come to the office." Then he hung up. An hour later, I walked into the company's headquarters. Employees were standing outside the executive conference room. Nobody spoke. Then the CEO appeared. Margaret Lawson, the company's founder, looked directly at me. "Ethan Parker?" "Yes." "Come inside." I stepped through the doors. Richard was already there. He stood beside the conference table. But when he saw me, his face went completely white. Then something unexpected happened. Margaret looked at him. "Richard, you told us Ethan was involved." Richard swallowed. "I made a mistake." Margaret slammed a folder onto the table. "No." She opened it. "You made a criminal decision." The room went silent. Then she turned toward me. "Your wife gave us the evidence." I looked at Claire. She stood near the door, tears in her eyes. Richard suddenly shouted, "She can't do this." Margaret calmly replied, "She already did." The flash drive contained recordings, emails, and transaction histories. Richard had been stealing from the company for nearly 2 years. He had created fake vendors, moved money through them, then used Claire's credentials to authorize several transfers. The affair had given him leverage over her. He thought shame would keep her silent. He was wrong. But there was one final recording. Margaret played it. Richard's voice filled the room. If Ethan takes the blame, Claire keeps her job. If she talks, they both lose everything. Claire began crying. I reached for her hand, then stopped, because love doesn't disappear in one moment, but trust can, and ours was still lying somewhere between us. Richard was escorted away by security. The room emptied. Eventually, Claire and I were alone. She whispered, "I'm sorry." I looked at her. "I believe you." She started crying harder. "But believing you doesn't mean I can forget." "I know." "Then what happens now?" I looked through the glass windows at Charlotte's skyline. "I don't know." 3 months later, Richard pleaded guilty to fraud and financial crimes. Claire kept her job, but she transferred to another division. She also started therapy, not because I demanded it, because she finally understood that surviving a bad situation didn't excuse the choices she made inside it. As for me, I moved into a small apartment across town. For the first time in 11 years, I had no wife beside me, no family dinners, no familiar voice calling from upstairs, just silence. Then, one rainy Thursday night, Claire showed up. She stood outside my door, holding the same envelope. "I kept it," she said. "Why? Because it reminds me of the moment I almost lost everything." I looked at her. "And what do you want?" She took a breath. "Not forgiveness." That surprised me. "I want a chance to earn your trust again." I didn't answer. She nodded. "I know I don't deserve another chance." Then she walked away. I watched her disappear down the hallway. And for the first time, I realized something. Redemption isn't someone saying they're sorry. It's what they do after nobody is watching. A year passed. We didn't magically become the couple we had been before. There were difficult conversations. There were nights when old memories came back. There were moments when I wanted to walk away. But Claire never stopped showing up. She became honest when honesty was uncomfortable. She stopped hiding things. She stopped making excuses. And slowly, painfully, trust began returning. Not because the past disappeared, because we learned how to live honestly with it. One Sunday morning, we stood together in the backyard of our old house. The same house where everything had almost ended. Claire looked at me. "Do you ever regret staying?" I smiled faintly. "I regret what happened." She lowered her eyes. "But I don't regret seeing who you became afterward." She looked up. "Does that mean we're okay?" I took her hand. "No." She looked hurt. I smiled. "It means we're becoming, and sometimes that's the most honest kind of happy ending. Because love isn't pretending betrayal never happened. Love is deciding whether two people are willing to become better than the people who caused the damage." And that night, I finally understood why Claire had cried outside my door. She wasn't crying because she had lost her marriage. She was crying because, for the first time, she realized she had almost lost the man who had spent 11 years trying to protect her. And the envelope? I never threw it away. I kept it as a reminder. Not of her betrayal, but of the night the truth finally became stronger than the lies. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments below.